Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Dell. I'm trying my best to make good content, but I'm also kind of mass producing it at this point to keep up with the daily demands. Also, we're going to be checking out another channel I have not seen in a while. I'm already subscribed to it, so it means that I've seen it sometime, but I don't remember watching it at any time. So let's see what their opinions are when it comes to Mysterio is more dangerous than you think. Okay. Honestly, Mysterio's a kind of a little bitch from what I've seen through the movies, and I haven't really paid attention to the comics as much with Mysterio. So let's get into it.
Spot, the Chameleon, Scorpion, Doctor Octopus, and the Green Goblin. But a villain that
Mm-hmm.
I feel like doesn't get a lot of love and is severely underutilized is the biggest fishbowl fan ever conceived, named Mysterio. Now,
Nice.
Mysterio is on the spectrum of either being a villain that takes numerous L's, or he's a batshit insane villain who can wipe the floor with any superhero he comes across. And I've always liked this character most of all for his ability to warp the realities of several heroes he's fought against. Sort of akin to the likes of Scarecrow and his mind altering fear toxin. I just love villains that, in a sort, can.
Actually, I just realized how good that would be as a 1v1. Actually, not a 1v1, because I don't think they would have that great of a fighting capability against each other, so would say. I think it would be weird. Okay, so
No, what did I do?
You know Scarecrow from DC, right?
Yeah.
You know Mysterio, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how it would be if they both had a competition to see who could mind fuck the other person's subject.
You always had to say things the weirdest way.
Sorry, traumatize.
There you go.
I
Kind of
try.
gaslight the hero into thinking he's crazy. Now, you might be thinking, well, what makes Mysterio so special? Isn't he just a guy that makes nothing but illusions and plays mind games? Well, first off, yeah, but if Mysterio were to use these methods of illusions and mind games correctly, he'd be a worthy adversary to anyone who were to oppose him. Take, for instance, Old Man Logan, which I'll go further in depth later in the video. But just so
Hmm.
you keep watching the
Give
video,
me my own. Give me my own.
Mr.
Please give me.
Carpenter's
Why?
investigation of the
Why did that
Riddler.
happen?
Are you good?
I am just very annoyed.
Why?
What's it called? Because I got my ult, and then and then it made me translocate out of my ult. Well, not out of my ult, out of the place I was going to ult, because I would have hit 5 people, but then I had to translocate.
Okay.
So now I'm just sad.
Hmm.
Are wreaking havoc all over the world, and the X-Mansion doesn't know which threats to stop first until an alarm is sounded. Therefore, villains quickly breach the school grounds, seemingly already killing most of the X-Men, with Wolverine the only hero left. So with Wolverine helping the students
Honestly, this is really funny, but it's not funny actually. It's kind of a weird coincidence that should we actually trust that the X Men are ever dead? I don't think we should ever trust that. Like anytime the X Men seem like they're dead, you should just be like, whatever.
evacuate, he kills every supervillain in the mansion, only to be shown the most horrific scene in his life, as Mysterio practically hits an emote over Wolverine and just dips, being completely responsible for the death of the X-Men. Now, if that's not enough to convince you that he's
Oh, so I misunderstood how powerful Mysterio is. Um, he kind of made Logan kill the rest of the X Men. Actually, that makes perfect sense. This is a Mysterio video. Why did I not see that coming?
someone that's not to be messed with, I have plenty of more instances. However, before anything, because I spent a ton of money on the reading order for Mysterio, we're going to do a small dive into Mysterio's origin and Mysterio's
Of
basic
course I got
abilities
slapped.
of just all around being a messed up human being. With up first being his first appearance in Amazing Spider-Man number 13. Coming off of Spider-Man stopping Doc Ock, everyone in New York mostly has grown quite fond of Spider Man. Until
Makes
Spider
sense.
Man all of a sudden starts robbing banks, taking a full 180, even running away from the scene of the crime, webbing up some police officers. With these new acts of crime supposedly committed by Spider Man, everyone in New York thinks of Spider Man as a chump who's finally decided fighting crime doesn't pay off as much as committing it. Cut to Peter with Aunt May laying all of her problems on Peter, giving him endless anxiety, saying things like,
Oh, I know our money is dwindling, Peter, and we can't afford anything anymore, and the house will be taken from us very soon, and it's likely we'll be out on the street in no time. But I hope everything is okay, dear Peter.
toppled with Peter hearing
What
from
the
the news
hell?
that Spider Man has been seen robbing banks left and right. Peter hearing this, he starts to have a nervous breakdown, thinking that maybe he's developed split personality, getting gaslighted by Mysterio so much that Peter stays up night after night trying everything he can not to fall asleep so that the evil Spider Man doesn't take over. With Peter even going so far as
What
reaching
the
out to a
fuck?
shrink under the guise of Spider Man to see if he's really going
Sorry,
crazy.
what's it
Meanwhile, in the
called?
Daily
Life
Bugle,
flashed before
Peter
my eyes.
Sorry, no. Mysterio has gaslit this man so badly that he had to go to a literal therapist. You gaslit Spider-Man into therapy. What the fuck?
cloud of mist appears with
That reminds me of
Mysterio
that one
announcing
Joker
himself,
thing.
telling JJ that he has abilities that can match those of Spider-Man and he could surely
I don't
defeat
think
him
that could
so
be
long as
classified as
JJ leaves Spider-Man
gaslighting,
alone
though.
within the paper to meet Mysterio on the Brooklyn Bridge. Peter eventually sees the note for Spider-Man in the paper and meets Mysterio atop of the bridge, with Mysterio essentially saying to Spider-Man that he will destroy him as Mysterio dodges and leaps over each of Spidey's attacks. At one point even vaporizing Spidey's web fluid with the wave of his hand, telling Spidey that he doesn't even stand a chance. As Mysterio summons a shroud of smoke over Spidey, proceeding to pummel him due to Spidey's spider sense somehow being dulled out, with Mysterio walloping Spider-Man so much that it would cause Spider-Man to run away. And on top of this, JJ holds a small press conference at the Daily Bugle for Mysterio where
You
Peter
know it makes perfect sense that freaking JJ James Jonah Jameson, the fucking I. So you know the actor who plays him in the originals? I think it's is it Sam Raimi?
I do not remember actors' names.
Okay, you know the OG Spider-Man, the first set, right? The dude who played him. Why does their James Jonah Jameson look so spot on? Like the dude shouldn't look that straight on. I don't give a damn how much you had to do it. He looks like the fucking incarnation.
I would
meets
agree.
Mysterio face to face, along with planting a small tracking device on his cape so he can wallop him later. But Mysterio manages to get the better of Spider-Man despite Spider-Man's capabilities, to which Spider-Man says that he knows that Mysterio posed as Spider-Man to rob those banks to turn New York against him so that Mysterio could have all the fame and riches, essentially becoming the hero of New York. To which Mysterio basically says, yeah, that pretty much sums it up, adding that he studied Spider-Man's movements for weeks and as a stunt performer gave him the edge he needed to reenact his movements, while also developing gadgets such as a nylon web shooter, a mist gauntlet that could vaporize web fluid, and special springs and magnets that could let him stick to walls, along with a helmet developed with tech that could jam his spider sense. After explaining everything, Spidey just says, "Alright, dummy, I got that all on recording. You're busted." So Mysterio's like, "Oh shit, no, get back here with that tape recorder or I'll fucking kill you," as a fight ensues through several movie sets. However, because
What the
Spider-Man was
hell?
told by Mysterio how all of his tech worked, Spider-Man gets the upper hand and defeats Mysterio, turning him into the police and all the evidence, thus clearing Spidey's name. Now, Mysterio could have won in this instance if he just kept his mouth shut, but his ego got the better of him. 3 issues later, Mysterio would become a founding member of the Sinister Six, following the leadership of Doc Ock, who had assembled each of
So I was watching a video earlier today, right, with a very obvious team of people. Have you ever heard of Dragonflow Z?
I've, I kind of remember it, but I'm gonna say no, though.
Okay. So you know Pain from Naruto, right?
Yeah.
Eminem.
Spider-Man's deadliest foes to take them on as a
Okay, then.
well-coordinated team of villains.
Just like no explanation, just Eminem, Pain. Dr. Dre is also part of the Akatsuki.
Only Ironically enough, they wouldn't fight together, but separately, enacting a Easter egg hunt of notes they'd each carry to where Spider Man's loved ones would be held. Now, through Doc Ock's help, Mysterio would create life model decoys of the X Men to give Spider Man quite the trouble, until Spider Man would end up sensing Mysterio on the other side of a metal wall, knocking him out with one clean punch. And I gotta say, Mysterio using the X Men as robots to
You.
fight Spider Man is pretty funny considering what he ends up doing in the future. And Mysterio sort of became a victim of belief, repeatedly getting
I'm
defeated by
just
Spider Man
disappointed.
because of his inflated ego
Hmm.
and his inability to grasp the concept of change. Until his nemesis Spider Man, that he had fought for years, all of a sudden up and vanished, replaced by the Ben Riley Spider Man. Upon this realization that he was no longer facing the same Spider Man, he set out to find a new adversary. And during the search, he would not only settle on Daredevil because he was second best and could sort of relate to that, but would also find out that he had cancer. So Mysterio would create a plan that would not just destroy
No,
Daredevil and his reputation, but
don't
also
do
make
this.
Daredevil the hero to kill him so the cancer wouldn't get to him first. Essentially, what Mysterio would do was he'd pay Kingpin $1 million to learn everything he could about Daredevil. Therefore, after learning Daredevil's secret identity, he would manipulate his loved ones in some sick and twisted plot to ruin each of their own lives alongside Daredevil's. Thus,
No, no. Okay, so I didn't realize Mysterio at one point swapped heroes and became a Daredevil villain and plot to. God, this is fucking awful.
using an airborne drug to hypnotize Daredevil into thinking a baby was the reincarnation of the Antichrist. I feel like
So,
this all could have been
either
solved if Mysterio just got a hug and was told, like, yeah, you're good at special effects, man, be in a movie. But coupled with the world of Marvel alongside Daredevil's religious beliefs, he bought the whole thing Mysterio had made up, thus causing Daredevil to become suicidal and throw the baby off the building. The baby ended up getting saved, don't worry, he didn't actually kill the baby. And upon the reveal that Mysterio was the one behind everything, it didn't take long for Daredevil to find Mysterio, where Mysterio would explain to Daredevil all the steps it took to break Daredevil and everyone he
I am
cared
an
for,
evil
until
motherfucker.
Mysterio would grab a hold of Daredevil, begging him to kill him and be the hero after everything Mysterio did, hoping everything would go according to plan. But Daredevil wouldn't give Mysterio the satisfaction of
you know what, that actually makes perfect sense. Mysterio got cancer, so he decided, you know what, I'm going to make someone do so much fucked up shit that they decide to kill me before I die. That makes perfect sense for Mysterio's entire motives. I hate him, but effective.
killing him. So Mysterio would steal a trick from Craven and kill himself instead. After this story, this was when I myself started to realize just how potent Mysterio's villainy truly was, and how dangerous he actually could be if he faced heroes other than Spider-Man and Daredevil. Like, Mysterio, with all of his intellect, illusions, and mastery of manipulation, could honestly bring the downfall to any hero, and it almost got the better of Daredevil if not for him snapping out of it at the last second. But after Mysterio's death, he wouldn't appear in comics for another long time. That is, until Mysterio would eventually come back from the dead. Get it? Because his name's Quentin Beck. And he'd mess with the Intergang in New York for a little bit. But not soon after Mysterio's return, he'd end up breaking new grounds technologically speaking, becoming the main reason Peter Parker and Miles Morales ever met in the first place, as he would himself develop an interdimensional
No,
gateway to the Ultimate Universe. And that sounds crazy, I
no.
know, given that like 4 minutes ago we were just talking about how this guy made simple gadgets to project illusions. But through Mysterio's great effort, he would strand Spider-Man in the Ultimate Universe, leaving him there so he could try to kill him in a robot body instead, as to not feel any harm, alongside using chemical agents to make Spidey think he was fighting his villains and even the Hulk at one point, until he just have enough of Spider-Man and shut off the portal back to his world completely. However, days later, Mysterio would grow kind of bored and kind of get curious as to what happened to Spider-Man in the Ultimate Universe. So Mysterio would turn the portal back on and head on through with his robot out of curiosity, only to be webbed through the other side after the Avengers and Spider-Man tracked down where Mysterio had hid his portal in the Ultimate
Huh.
Universe, with Mysterio afterwards being defeated himself.
That is interesting. Okay, so I was trying to absorb a lot of information. That was a lot of
That's
information.
fine.
Simply put, Mysterio trapped Spider-Man in a different dimension. You know, cool, cool, cool. And got so cocky that he thought, you know what? What happened? And opened the portal, and out came Spider-Man to whoop his ass again. How do you have to be that stupid? Like you knew that you had him trapped in there. Why did you peek your head in there? You should have known.
After not only finding out Spider Man's secret identity, but also enacting a few desperate attempts to escape, like drugging the heroes into seeing their worst nightmares. But at the end, Nick Fury would ask if, since Mysterio knows Spidey's identity, wouldn't it be best if he stayed in their world? To which Spidey would say, yeah, that works for me, and just leave Mysterio stranded in the Ultimate Universe. Now, again, it seems like every time Mysterio seems to almost get the upper hand and win, he just goes and lets his ego get the best of him. Now, I'm assuming that after Secret
Hmm.
Wars, Mysterio ended up coming back.
No. Interesting game, look out, but I don't.
Why'd you time that so perfectly with my video?
What do you mean?
You just said no
Mysterio
at the
was right
exact
to pick
same
the
at the
villain. When
exact moment
Mysterio
someone
would make his
finished their
very own
question.
introduction in Amazing Spider-Man #1 by Nick Spencer, starting the
I
story
got
with
good
the
timing.
Avengers, the
What do you mean?
X-Men, the Defenders, and even the Guardians
What
of
are
the
those, head
Galaxy
crabs?
taking on an alien invasion, with aliens encompassing pretty much every superhero until Spider-Man would arrive, fighting alongside the Human Torch until aliens would get a hold of him as well, as portals of mass groups of aliens pile and pile all over New York,
Are
until
those actually
Spider-Man,
head
entrenched by
crabs?
the
Are you
alien hordes,
serious?
looks up at the sky and notices that the alien portals are all following a distinguishable pattern. So with Spidey's realization and every hero out of commission, Spidey makes the leap that it surely means saving New York, believing without a doubt that this is the end of his story as he leaps into the light, only to hit a dome of glass like a bug on a windshield as Mysterio on the other side celebrates his victory over Earth's mightiest heroes, until Mysterio gets walloped by Spider-Man. Yeah, I brought walloped back. As Spider-Man saves the day, with Mysterio later hanging off the side of a building, saying to Spider-Man that he's been in a rut lately and felt like just trying something new to be taken seriously. So instead of trying to kill Spidey over and over and over again, he instead went ahead and tried to kill everyone. But just to
You
reaffirm
know what?
everything that I've been
That's
saying,
actually fair enough. Mysterio was like, hey, I've been losing to you for so long. You know what? How about I just try and take on everybody at once? I did take out everybody, except for you, so, I think I did well, which is fair enough. Like, if you thought that you getting beaten up by the same dude over and over again, I'd try to fight someone else. And then you win against everybody else. Except for the one dude who you kept losing to.
about how Mysterio was dangerous and underutilized, the dude literally created a fake space army that was so convincing and capable that Mysterio almost single handedly killed every significant hero in the Marvel Universe. Thus, bringing us to my final reason as to why Mysterio is one of the most dangerous villains in the Marvel Universe, and it goes to a story that I mentioned all the way back in the beginning. Old Man Logan. Now, me myself,
Mm-hmm.
I believe that Old Man Logan is kind of partly canon due to the fact that the Old Man Logan was a part of the 616 continuity for a while, and for the fact that at a later story, Old Man Logan tries to kill Mysterio because he deems Mysterio too much of a threat to be left alive. But anyways, onto the
Which
story.
is fair.
Wolverine is telling Hawkeye about the night every villain in the world banded together to kill every hero, with the X-Mansion getting distress signals from Wakanda, the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, and S.H.I.E.L.D., with Jubilee asking Wolverine what should they do, until they both get hit by an explosion. Moments then pass as Wolverine gets out of the rubble to find Jubilee dead, along with a multitude of villains starting to
What
seep into
the
the X-Mansion. Now immediately, Wolverine leaps
Wait,
at the
isn't that the
large group
Nazi?
of 30 to 50 villains, but gets quickly overpowered as more villains
I
breach the
keep
school,
forgetting that
nearly killing the
Marvel
kids
still has
if
these
not
Nazi
for Wolverine
characters.
killing each of the villains brutally, as
Oh well.
Wolverine calls out to each of his friends for help, while the kids all make a break for the school's emergency exit, while Wolverine screams for the kids to never look back no matter what, killing more and more villains by either stabbing, pouncing, or gashing, until it had finally come down to just Wolverine and Bullseye, with Bullseye giving Wolverine the most trouble. But it was only until Wolverine finally stabbed Bullseye that Bullseye would utter the words, "Logan, stop, please. Why are you doing this? You're supposed to be our friend," with the illusion dissipating, revealing that Bullseye was really Jubilee the entire time, with Logan looking around to find that the mountain of bodies that were villains
God,
killed by
no.
Wolverine were the people who called him friend and comrade, as Mysterio makes his entrance by mocking Wolverine on the fact that he thought he could kill all of those villains the way he did. But his friends, people who would hesitate, that's a different matter entirely. Bowing to Wolverine and telling him,
My name is Mysterio, the Master of Illusions. My thanks on behalf of the criminal community.
Old
What
Man
the
Logan would go
fuck?
on to say that there was no way he could have known it was the X-Men because Mysterio had made it so convincing by changing their appearance, their smell, and the way they all felt to Logan. In addition to Mysterio's brutality, it led Logan to become so devastated with shock and grief that he'd find himself at a railway and let the train roll over his head. Now, if that does not prove my point that Mysterio is an extremely dangerous and
He's a
otherwise
terrifying and dangerous villain.
underutilized
He's
villain,
still just as goofy
I do
looking though.
not know what else will. But with that, I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I'll
He's just a
catch y'all
goofy
on
little
the
guy.
flip side.
What's so wrong
I gotta
about
go
him?
play Resident Evil 4.
I mean, the fact that he's driven both Daredevil and freaking Logan to suicide at multiple points is kind of fucked up. But yeah, he's goofy.
Only kind of, yes.
Kind of. Kind of goofy or kind of serious? Which one?
No, I don't know.
Answer the fucking question, Clem.
Make me.
I could try, but I don't feel like it would work.
It probably wouldn't.
You know what? Do I want to do more reaction or do I want to just go into gaming? You know what? I'm just gonna call it this game. I'm gonna mark this as Mysterio. There we go. Yeah, I'm just gonna go into gaming.